Welcome back. So this week is an update, Hitem3D release model 1.5. So this will be the version. Within the resolution, with a Pro account, you're going to see that you're going to have access to the following resolution over here. So it will have Pro at the end. They also added another resolution entitled Head, which is mostly intended for character head generation. Now let's take a look over here at the multi-view case study. So for the front view, I will select the following dragon over here. For the back as well, I'm just going to show you over here the image. So this will be the image. As you can see, it will not be that highly, let's say, detailed. We see the resolution over here, so 1200. Keep in mind that especially for the vertical, it will have a lot of white section over here. If I'm going to zoom in over here towards the head of the dragon, we're going to see the following details, or over here towards those the claw details. We're going to say this will be a dragon sitting on a, let's say, a monastery or cathedral. It will have the tail twisted around the cliff and the building, and it's quite an interesting model. And what is most impressive will be the output created by Hitem3D. So this is using the voxel resolution head. As you can see, this will be only defined by 1 million faces, and in this case, for the face of the dragon, it will not be that detailed since it's not intended for this. But we see the other details. We see over here the tail of the dragon being wrapped around that cliff. So overall, it's pretty good. But if you're going to compare this with the other models, we're going to see some clear improvements. So we have over here, this is the simple one. We see the voxel resolution. If I'm going to go with the texture off, we can already see that compared to the previous model over here, especially over here on the neck of the dragon, we're going to have a much more detailed surface. We're actually going to have those scales, and over here that dragon skin, as we can see it over here. So especially over here onto the front section of the neck, this will not have those details. As you can see, they will be stopped somewhere over here. So this is the voxel resolution. This is the older resolution available. Other than that, we have really good details regarding the monastery and the cliffs. So let's jump to the next one, which, as we can see, already has more details on the neck. So we see the voxel resolution over here. This is also has a P, so this will be a different resolution. Most of them will be embedded within a texture, but it will still retain much more fine details. We see over here the back. This over here has some problems. As you can see, that wing is not connected, and the tail will actually be linked to that, to the wing. So let's go further to the following model. This will use Pro, as you can see over here. Again, it will not have that wing attached to the body, but we're going to see that the tail will now actually be linked and connected to that. So that's a major improvement. Keep in mind that you can do up to 3 free retries in this case, and we're going to see within the final model that the output was a lot better. And within this Pro version, you're going to see that the models will retain much more fine details. So we see over here all of those going up the dragon's neck over here. So those details will be directly nested within the mesh, not only within a geometry. And this is a retry. So using the same input, I just hit free retry over here, and this was the output. And as we can see, this model will be a lot better. So we have over here the wing. It has over here a weird connection to the tail, but overall the tail will be connected to the body and the wings will then be added. So in my opinion, this is a great model. Maybe over here for this leg, it's not complete, as we can see, but that wasn't really, let's say, that visible. And also check over here the details onto the dragon head. Okay, now let's jump within Blender. I'm going to open all the models because I want to analyze those. So as you can see over here within the downloads, I already named those. So this will be regarding the resolution, name, so head, and the other will have the following name. Therefore, within Blender, I'm going to go File, Import. We know that this will be an FBX. I've chosen FBX in this case, mainly due to the fact because I'm going to open them within GeoMagick to do a little bit of mesh comparison. Because within Blender, it's not really intended for that. We're going to have the following models over here. We're going to see the file size. I'm going to hit import for all. And we're going to see that they will be slightly rotated on the Z-axis. So Blender is now slowly loading those. Keep in mind that each will be defined by 2 million faces. So it will take a little bit of time for all of those models to be imported. But Blender will not have any problem. So we already have those loaded. If I'm going to go ahead and I will move this on the x-axis so we can better visualize those. It's a little bit harder to see over here, but the shape of the wings, it's not, let's say, following the same pattern. This is why I'm going to import them within GeoMagick and do a mesh analysis. But we see over here that for the back of the dragon, this had the best output, which is the last one, and this one as well. So we see over here that the wing is slightly connected over there. Over here, not that much. So this is not the last reprocess. This is the last one. Over here in front, we're going to see those details to the building. If I'm going to swap over here to only see the mesh, I will also enable cavity to better visualize those details. We're going to see how the meshes will look like this. So this overall is a pretty decent model over here. If I will also enable the statistics, we're going to see that this will actually be the one entitled head. And I know that because this will be defined by only 1 million faces, while the others will have 2 million faces. Now let's jump within GeoMagick and do a comparison over here as well. So within the download, I'm just going to go with file import. And I want to analyze over here, for example, Pro with Pro 2. I will also import the other one, which was a good output, the one using the head resolution. So they will now import to GeoMagick. As you can see, this will take a little bit of time, maybe a little bit more than within Blender. But over here, we can go ahead and further analyze those meshes. I'm not going to do a deviation analysis in this case, since it's not that relevant. But we have those models now loaded. If I will hide the second Pro over here, you're going to see how they will look like this. As you can see within GeoMagick, if I'm going to zoom in and zoom out, I'm going to receive that preview, especially since I also have this scene in Blender open and this uses a lot of resources. So Blender overall is much more stable with large meshes, as we can see, but it's not that intended to process meshes as GeoMagick. Now let's see that I'm going to slightly rotate this in order to help the quick align tool over here. So maybe the position of the dragon head will be something like this, and I'm going to slightly move it to the back. But as you can see, the wings will not be that overlapping if I try to overlap over here the face of the dragon. And this will be more obvious if I'm going to go within the alignment. So I'm going to align those two, so the Pro and the one entitled head. I'm going to go within global registration. This will give them unique colors, which will be given randomly. And if I'm going to hit apply, GeoMagick will now try to search for those surface overlaps. And as we can see, it will not be an easy task, and it will not manage to do that. If I will try to do the same between those two entitled Pro over here, again a global registration, we're going to see that these two will slightly have a better match. But if the software will try to match over here, for example, the head of the dragon, the wings will no longer be overlapped. We see over here some of the buildings, they will be overlapped, but again, it's really hard to have that full overlap. If you are familiar with 3D scanning, you know that this is really important, especially when you are merging scans. But overall, we see that the outputs are really impressive. And keep in mind that I only use images that are not that high detail. So we see over here the file size. let's say roughly 0.2 megabytes, and also the resolution 1200, which again is not a great resolution, as you can see it over here. Okay, so overall, I consider that Hitem3D will output some of the best details on the model, and I highly encourage you to check their new resolution over here. So this will be available within the Pro account. So if you want to generate highly detailed sculptures like this, I highly encourage you to give Hitem3D a try, because I've tested other solutions on the market and this is by far the best for this. If you are looking for quad meshes, especially intended for other kind of applications, maybe Hitem3D is not the answer in that case, because most of this will be generated with triangle meshes. So if I will go over here and I will overlap that wireframe, we're going to see that this will not be defined by quads, this will be defined by triangles. So other tools also offer quad support, and I'm sure that Hitem3D will also update their model to output quads as well. But if you are interested in triangle meshes, especially for example for a statue like this, in my opinion, Hitem3D will output the best results on the market. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I'm going to position a similar video over here on the left side, and I will also add a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.